Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here and get it out of the way. Yes, the locks are gone. I got a haircut. It turned out very badly. So the person who cut my hair then decided to, he offered to fixed it, but unfortunately that means I had to cut my hair twice, essentially. So long hair is gone. We'll see what happens. I'll bring it back at some point in time. I mean, I'll just let it grow, and we'll see how it goes from here. But yep, shorter hair James is back for now. But let's get on with this and actually talk about the subjects at hand. Yes, exactly. Where did James go? Yeah, I know. The glorious locks are gone. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut it this short, but that's just how it goes. But let's actually talk about one of the things that a lot of people are kind of grumbling about on Twitter recently. Obviously, I like to address a lot of the conversations that are going on Twitter. And, as we've talked about, fighting games, as they get older and as people play more, we figure out what's the best things in the game. We figure out how to, properly play the game and find things that are very, very strong. Well, Street Fighter 6 now, having been almost a year old now, and again, keep in mind that older games like Alpha 1 to Alpha 2 is only a year long or something like that. So having a year in a game is a significant amount of time. And so looking at Street Fighter 6, we're nearing a year, and right now, the current conversation that we're seeing on social media is that crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel is too strong. It's really good. And, we all knew that, right? We knew that mechanic was super strong. They knew it. Crouching medium kicks, nerf your damage a lot. Crouching medium kicks have a lot of damage scaling at the start. And so they were aware of this, but as a result, might actually be too strong right now because, okay, so what I wanted to do was break it down. What is it exactly that makes crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel, in particular, really, really strong? Whereas, everything canceled into drive rush is very strong, right? So the thing that makes it strong is that when you drive rush, obviously, when you attack an opponent, you get 4 extra frames of block stun. So if you cancel a move on block into a drive rush, you force them to block a normal, and then you have a mix-up. Standard Street Fighter V RPS mix-up, as I used to call it here in Street Fighter 6, because one of the few rare ways that you could actually get plus frames right next to an opponent. Not only do you keep the momentum from the drive rush when you press your buttons to a degree, but now you're plus frames as well, so you're usually in their face, forces a hit-throw mix-up, hit-throw shimmy mix-up. And so that's really, really strong, but the thing about it is on hit, obviously it's very easy to hit confirm because usually you have one good button, right? You cancel your drive rush into another button. Usually it's medium into medium if your character's mediums are fast enough, and that becomes a true block string on block. But on hit, now you actually get to convert, right? So you go crouching medium kick, drive rush cancel, standing medium punch, for example. And then all of a sudden, if it's blocked, your plus frames mix up. If you hit them, you get a big old combo off the standing medium punch because now it has extra hit stun because it's in the drive rush as well. So this is really, really strong. But in particular, the thing that makes crouching medium kick into drive rush so strong, and why, characters, yes, and this is objectively speaking, not me being salty, which is why a character like Kimberly is actually suffering a lot that she has to use standing medium kick into drive rush. The thing that makes crouching medium kick into drive rush so powerful is obviously that it hits low. But not only that, but in this game, crouching medium kicks hit far. They hit so far. If you go from Street Fighter V to Street Fighter VI, the range on these crouching medium kicks are absolutely just ridiculous. Like, you get hit from so far away, and this is really important because crouching medium kicks are fast enough and far enough, right? They're the best of all. They're the Mario of moves, right? You know, obviously your heavy buttons are going to be Bowser and your light buttons are going to be Toad, but Mario is all the medium buttons because it's got good range, it's got good speed, you know, it has good hit stun, etc., etc. But crouching medium kicks also hit low. And in this game, a lot of the times your defense is going to be predicated on trying to walk away from your opponent. Whether you're playing footsies or after you block, like, you know, a couple of moves, you just want to get the hell out of there and build space. So you try to walk backwards, thus opening up your legs. And that's where the crouching medium kick into drive rush is really, really, really strong. Yeah, okay, Necromancy Black brings up a little interesting point here. He says the real mistake they made, in my opinion, was that they made Drive Rush a special cancel, so anything special cancelable can be canceled into Drive Rush. Yeah, in previous games they would have separate flags, like can this move be canceled? You know, like V-Trigger, for example, could be canceled by moves that you couldn't be canceled into special moves. I think that was intentionally done to simplify the game a little bit. I'm sure internally in the game, those are two different flags, but I think that they set it so that they match on every character specifically for the reason of keeping it as simple as possible. Would it be better, as Necromancy Black says, to make Drive Rush its own type of cancel and then adjust what moves can Drive Rush from them? Maybe. But do we want to? So this is the thing, right? The reason why you're saying this is, hey, let's just take it away from crouching medium kick so that you can't crouching medium kick into drive rush. And thank you, Depwek, for the sub. Appreciate you. So you're basically saying, you know, like you wouldn't actually be able to, what do you call it? You wouldn't actually be able to crouch medium kick into drive rush. But I don't know if we want to actually remove that. I don't know if we want to get rid of that because, you know, one, that's Street Fighter 6. Like that's kind of what it feels like Street Fighter 6 is, right? Is the ability to cancel into drive rushes and get free pressure, etc., etc. But yeah, therein lies the problem, right? It's a low attack that hits very, very fast, very, very far. Obviously not as far as some other buttons, but still pretty dang far. They actually work pretty decently as whiff punishes as a result against certain moves. And of course they hit low. And they cause enough hit and block stun that a drive rush cancel into another 6 or 7 frame button can be a true block string. So what a lot of people did early on in Street Fighter 6 was cancel crouch medium kick into heavy buttons, right? So you would go boom into like some heavy button, like Cammy, for example, you crouching medium kick into drive rush crouching fierce, because that gave you the most plus frames on hit and on block. But what people figured out now is that usually a medium drive rushed into a heavy, there's a gap, and a lot of people would actually bust out an OD wake up in the middle of that. So people have adjusted, learned to use faster buttons. Obviously, they nerf their own damage that way because on hit, you're not going to get as much damage, but generally it's safer and you're guaranteed the mix-up. So again, there's no risk to it. If I do a crouching medium kick and it reaches you, drive rush cancel, there's like literally no risk at all. You're either doing a bunch of damage or you get a mix-up. And that's wonderful, right? That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about it is the 3-bar cost, you know, of the drive rush cancel. But people have gotten really good at watching their watching their meter. They've been really good at knowing how to, you know, pace it, etc., etc. And in a game where, you know, sometimes the neutral comes down to two people not pressing buttons at all, the one that has that can actually sneak in, crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel is going to be the stronger character, right? Is definitely going to be a very, very strong character. And again, the traits that make a strong character, you could practically name them, except again, the biggest outlier in the world, Jamie. Like, no matter what list you make of, like, what makes a top-tier character in Street Fighter 6, Jamie already has all of those flags, and he's just not good. So it's just like, what? Poor Jamie. But, again, crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel is just really, 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 really strong. Even at 3-bar cost. And yeah, and as a result, the characters that don't have them, again, even though Kim has standing medium kick into drive rush cancel, still not as good as crouching medium kick, because you're never going to be able to hit a defensive player with standing medium kick into drive rush cancel if they're playing defensive. Even if they're playing defensive in, with a crouching medium kick, part of defense is having to stand up and walk. If you just hold down back, you're going to die. So walking is a very important part of playing defense and playing neutral, which leaves your legs open. And in most games, it usually led to like low forward fireball or low forward into, a charging special move. And a lot of times, sometimes the best moves would actually be minus on block or even punishable. So if you didn't hit confirm the crouch medium kick, that would be a problem. The problem with drive rush cancel off a medium kick is that, like I said, it's always safe. It's always safe. And so a lot of people are really frustrated with how strong it is and how much of the meta feels like it actually, how much of the meta is kind of based around this crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel. I mean, King says that he feels like this problem is a non-issue, but I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, I do think, to be fair, that the hatred of it is a little exaggerated, but at the same time, I do think it's very, very strong, and having it is one of the things that makes a character very powerful in this game. So yeah, Kraos the Bear. I was just going to talk about that, actually. That was a very excellent clip that Sajam posted up. The thing about it is that Sajam analyzed a match where Phenom did crouching medium kick, drive rush cancel, but it was blocked. And so he lost the 3 bars. He did an EX somewhere. I can't remember it. I think it was like to keep himself safe. And then he only had 1 bar, and the opponent then just basically murdered him because he burned him out and then ended up killing him. So there is supposed to be the actual downside of the drive rush cancels. 3 bars is a lot. And if you're not really careful and you just drive rush cancel and spend it, and then all of a sudden you're in defense, you ODD, dude, there have been so many rounds that I have played that my opponent just drive rush cancels all the time, and then they burn themselves out. So even on hit, they do some crazy drive rush cancel combo, burn themselves out and do like 60% damage to me, and and then I just murder them and they die because they burn themselves out. So, I know Broski was talking about this too, that a lot of players burn themselves out too much. So, I mean, yeah, not the largest issue right now, but definitely one of the main offenders. I mean, it's up there. It's up there in terms of like the gameplay feature that people are getting frustrated by. The drive rush cancel off of crouching medium kick is one of the ones that people have been complaining about the most recently. So, how do we fix this, right? Some people actually talked about this. Oh, I mean, that's exactly why Broski probably mentioned it. Because Aki is a burnout. She's a monster when you're burned out. And so he's just like, please burn yourself out. Let's go. Right. So King9999 says, I do think drive rush could be more risky to use. And I've talked about that. I've talked about my idea that if you get hit out of a drive rush, you stumble forward, which then lets you hit confirm easy off of that, right? What's up, Straight and Narrow Gate? How's it going? So in other words, if someone drive rushes at you and you hit them with a standing medium kick, you hit them and then they tumble forward with all of the same frame data, but that means now you can link a move off of that because you don't push them to a range where nothing hits anymore. In fact, you pull them in, so now you can actually, it has that same risk reward. If you raw drive rush in and hit them, you get a big combo, but if they hit you, they get a big combo. So tit for tat kind of thing. The problem is, in this situation, we're talking about actually doing a drive rush cancel, and in that case, you basically can't check the drive rush. That's one of the other problems too, is that crouching medium kick into drive rush, you can't check it. And the other problem, so a lot of people have actually said, what do you call it? Drive reversal. Drive reversal, no problem, easy peasy, easy peasy. But actually, if you drive reversal off of a crouching medium kick cancel into drive rush, if I'm not mistaken, like a lot of times you can like drive rush into a light, I believe it is, and then they block. I think the drive reversal at that point in time is blockable, and then you could just basically blow them up, right? You could just destroy them at that point in time after you block the drive reversal. I like the idea of reducing the amount of drive gauge you lose when you block a DR normal. So Depwek, actually, interesting segue that you're allowing me to go in here. I've been thinking about this idea of how do we nerf this? How do we nerf this? How do we nerf this? Some people have said, just make it cost more. Just make it 4 bars to cancel. And I was like, yo, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot, you know? Because then, and then that also hurts people for drive rush cancel combos, in which some characters, that's kind of what they need to do damage. Like, you actually hurt some of those characters, right? Like, Ken will actually benefit from that more than half the other characters. Luke would benefit from that because their drive cancels, they don't have to use drive cancels to get a lot of big damage. And so it makes it really, really strong. Yeah, it makes it so that drive cancels are almost kind of worthless and tough to use. So the idea I was thinking of, kind of going off what, Depwek is actually talking about here, I think we should try to classify normals a little bit more with drive rush normal and not drive rush normal. Like, drive rush normals should be kind of their own class and have rules attached to them. Don't change their frame data or properties or anything. Yeah, now it costs more to get in on zoners. Yeah, see, that's a thing too. That would buff Dulcim. So that actually kind of hurts my idea too. But what I was thinking for an idea here was that, people have even said raw drive rush should be 2 bars. Drive rush cancel should be 4 bars. And I was like, there's a lot of characters that need raw drive rush for combos. Like Kim, if she does the heavy vagabond edge, she does drive rush into Bushin chain and then drive rush. She kind of does a couple of drive rushes in a single combo. And if you actually nerf that, you nerf some of the fun in the game. Kim has her best corner combo has 4 drive rushes in a row. And it's a fun combo. Aki needs the drive rush to juggle a lot. Exactly. Zangief needs the drive rush to get back in. If you nerf raw drive rush, I mean, that's kind of brutal at that point. I was thinking one of the ways that you might be able to tweak this and fix this a little bit is that... And again, this is just an idea that I thought of today. So I haven't fleshed this out completely. So there could definitely be a lot of problems with this idea. But if your opponent blocks a drive rush normal, you lose a drive gauge. 1 extra block. You lose 1 more block of drive gauge. So only if they block a drive rush normal, they lose a block. I mean, you lose a block. So in other words, if you do crouching medium kick cancel and it hits, you get your normal combo. But if they do block and they do drive rush into standing strong, then it actually spends 4 bars. So it actually makes it so that if you're wrong and you get the drive rush cancel into a button in that situation, that actually makes it so that it's more painful than ever to do a drive rush, and they block it. And but again, you know, that would hurt characters like Zangief, because Zangief after SBD, drive rush into sweep is such a powerful weapon that if they just block, I mean, that there goes 2 of your drive rush gauges. So like some people are saying, it would actually hurt in a lot of situations. So maybe that isn't the right way to go. Yeah, Lurker Spine. That's what Big Bird said. So that's Big Bird's idea, which is actually scaling crouching medium kick even more. Now, crouching medium kick into drive, does the drive rush cancel itself drain the meter? I'm not 100% sure here. Do I have this over here somewhere here? I don't think I do. I almost just want to test it here right now. Oh, yeah, thank you, Straight and Narrow, who says, much love and much respect, brothers and sisters. Love one another. Yep, and do unto each other as you would have them do unto you. Absolutely, absolutely, agreed. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. So, the other idea that I thought would be kind of interesting and would also help balance JP a little bit, I'm not sure if there's a downside to this. Like, would this break the game? Would this actually cause problems if we implemented the ability to activate drive parry in the middle of a block string? So in other words, so the problem is you have to be in neutral to be able to initiate a drive parry, right? And so if you had the ability to activate it in the middle of a block string, but you can't perfect parry. You cannot perfect parry if you're already in block stun. It just changes it so that you can actually drive parry. Because most of the time, any sort of crazy cancels, you know, I mean, I guess the biggest problem with that would be then after you block something, you would just automatically activate drive parry no matter what, and you'll never get hit low again or something like that. But the idea that I was trying to come up with is some sort of active way to, what do you call it? I mean, it wouldn't change how drive impacts work. Drive impacts would be almost exactly the same if I'm not mistaken, because the drive impact only works if there's a gap, and you can drive parry in that gap no matter what. What was I trying to say? So the idea that I'm trying to come up with is that you have to be proactive to be able to stop it, right? Well, holding drive parry prevents wall splat. You parry the drive impact. Sure, you just block it and you save yourself, but that doesn't change. You could just do it anyway. You could just do it anyway. So the idea basically that I had was that you have to be active on your defense, and if you can actually activate the drive parry in the middle of a block string, then you could actively try to block the drive rush normal, and then that causes them to drain 1 bar. So in other words, if DJ Raw drive rushes at you and you activate drive parry and he jabs, that would make him lose a bar. But that opens you up now to drive rush into throw. That also opens up crouch medium kick, drive rush into throw, right? So there's kind of a risk reward built into that as well. So if they do drive rush, crouching medium kick, drive rush cancel the standing medium punch, and you activate the drive parry in between, even though it's a true block string, you make them lose an entire block of their drive gauge. But then if they think you're going to do that, they can bait it out, crouching medium kick, drive rush cancel into throw, basically. But which mix-up does it avoid? Which mix-up does it void is what I'm trying to understand, Mike. Which mix-up are you talking about? I guess. Because honestly, the biggest strength of this is obviously also that you split the pushback. So maybe a drive parry activated during block stun does not have the pushback ability, right? It's just basically it's just green block from Guilty Gear, right? It just activates and now you block things. Actually, no, in Guilty Gear, the green block in the older games actually cause things to push back even more. So basically, it's just an active defense that doesn't do anything except causes them to lose a block if you actually block a drive rush normal. It'd be super complicated and really specific and kind of dumbly detailed, so probably not the best idea. Basically, I'm just trying to come up with a way to make it so that the opponent the defender has to actively, cause you to lose that bar, so it just doesn't happen in general. But the reason why I kind of started leaning towards this method was that way it doesn't change anything in terms of combos. So it's still going to be 3 bars because you're always going to hit them with the drive rush cancel or the drive rush juggle, etc., etc. What if after a raw drive rush or drive rush cancel normal is blocked, there is a lockout period where drive rush bar does not regen at all? Same cost, same scaling, bigger penalty for spamming. That's actually not a bad idea, dude McGuy. That's a much better idea than anything that I'm thinking of over here. Because what happens is that bar that you lose is a result of you not actually gaining the meter back. So it doesn't change anything else anywhere. We don't have to worry about this active defense thing. It's just anytime you drive rush cancel, you nerf your meter recovery. That's in place right now, if I'm not mistaken. That's actually how it is right now. But perhaps we can actually extend it even more. Basically, is what we're talking about here. Make it so that the penalty is stricter, in other words. But if you actually look here, a drive rush cancel, you can see not recovering. Okay, started there. So you do actually get the delay here. Wait, go. So how many seconds is that? Maybe 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. So probably about 2 seconds. I counted a little too fast, basically. What do you want me to show exactly, Harv? Because obviously your question was answered because I put this in here. I just put this in here. The drive parry would have to be adjusted so the OS situations don't happen, or that you cannot hold drive parry from the block state and it has extended recovery. Yeah, I mean, if you actually do the drive parry, maybe it does just, force you into a new block stun. But I'm trying to figure out what particular situation. Again, like I said, I just came up with this idea today, so I just haven't thought it through completely. But like, what would that break? What situation would that break? Would it just be because now every time you block anything, you would just start holding the parry? What mix-up does it destroy besides JP's mix-up? Okay. So King 999, yes. So you make the delay longer. If the drive rush normal is blocked, extend that waiting period on meter regen by like 3 times. Maybe not necessarily 3 times, because that would be brutal. But you're saying only on block. So not even on hit then not even just all the time. Because I'm almost starting to think, drive rush cancels are really strong. I mean, why not just make it so that every time you do it, it's delayed, or would that make it too weak? Again, the reason why I didn't like my idea necessarily of having it so that if you block a drive rush normal, it makes you lose an extra block, etc., etc. It's too complicated. It's just complicated. And so I feel like maybe just make it so that instead of 2 seconds, it's 4 seconds. Just 4 seconds, you don't get any drive gauge back. And so now fishing for drive gauge will actually be tough. So you're going to walk up and block, try to get them into a drive rush cancel in a non-confirmable situation and try to get, make them lose their drive gauge. The problem, of course, is that, some players still have the ability to confirm their drive cancels and stuff, depending on the move, right? So like that, right? Like some people can actually confirm certain buttons into drive rush cancel. But again, those are going to be more of the heavier buttons, which are riskier to use anyway. Okay, so Michael, you're talking about the situations where drive impact is a threat and you're forced into block and you can't drive parry to OS both the drive impact and the cancel or string, and react if there's an impact cancel and let go or hold if it's there. And the only thing that really loses is like point play. But the reason why I'm confused about that is because is it just basically you're just holding it all the time, and so you don't have to think about drive impact. And if drive impact comes out, you just block it anyway. No, you just drive parry it and nothing happens. Why can't we do that now? What is the reason we can't do that now? And keep in mind, the whole time you're holding the drive parry, you're like, maybe make it so that the while in block stun drive parry drains a whole bar instead of just half a bar. And that's, but see, even if you do that, then it's no benefit to you. Then it's too risky to do. I mean, I could just imagine people abusing it too much and holding it, and just people burning themselves out all day. But again, it's a little too complicated, right? It's a little too complicated. Yeah, so it's 120 frames, which is 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So because it's a guaranteed reward if you are going to block the drive impact, right? No, but drive impact, that's not really a reward, right? You're plus. Yeah, I'm having trouble trying to logic what makes it too strong to be able to hold the drive parry. So it's a better option than blocking 100% of the time, except you're draining your own meter. You're draining your own meter, and now someone could just walk up and throw you, basically, is kind of the idea. I think 300 frames might be too much. 240 frames might be good enough. Just make it so that it's actually, 260, 4 seconds. 4 seconds, sorry. When I'm trying to do two things at once, I'm getting messed up. So, right. So that's my question, is that I feel like all the options are the same if you're blocking or drive parrying. The only thing that it hurts is the drive impact. And it's hard to convince me that that's a problem. Because you know what? Beep! Drive impacts, man. Because I hate those stupid things. Ugh. Okay. Oh, okay. I know where my disconnect is now. I know where my disconnect is. If you do true block stun drive parry, you gain no bonus for parrying a normal. Yes, that that is the disconnect. That is the disconnect that I'm having over here. Because drive parries, obviously, if you block stuff, you gain meter back. If you drive parry stuff, you gain meter back. So after you block a move, of course, you're just going to hold it down and be like, give me my drive gauge. But maybe without the actual activation, you get a weaker version of the drive parry that doesn't actually reward you with meter on block, basically. I mean, honestly, my favorite idea so far is the just extend the debt to 4 seconds instead of 2 seconds, because that hurts. Well, let me also see one other thing too. If someone can find it as well, what's the time it takes to build one entire bar back? Right? What's the time it takes to build one entire bar back? So if I do this, whoops, that's not a good one. I should do 1,000. Okay. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. So about 4 seconds. It looks like it's about 4 seconds for one bar right there. So 1,000, 2, 1,000. Wow, there's a 3-second penalty for a drive rush. So raw drive rush is 2, 3, 1,000. Like 3-second penalty, whereas drive rush cancel feels like it's less of a penalty. No. Oh, yeah, you have to wait till the penalty is over before you start gaining meter back. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It didn't look like... Well, let's see. Yeah, you don't get anything during that penalty there, so... I mean, maybe just the easiest way to fix this is just start futzing with the... start futzing with all the delays and the time, the penalty, you know. Because again, I'm surprised that raw drive rush penalty seems to be longer than a drive rush cancel penalty. Maybe they just thought drive rush cancel was so expensive that they didn't want to hurt you that badly. I feel like maybe you could swap it around a little bit. You know, honestly, but I feel like that might just be one of the best ways to nerf it. Yeah, just make it so that if you actually drive rush cancel, you the penalty is significantly longer. It's the same as a whiffed parry. Interesting. Okay. Would the penalty change the fact that a crouch medium kick into drive rush into steamroll can win the round? No. But what it does now is it does reward you for proper defense, right? If you can survive that situation, it's less of, oh my God, I lived, to more, I lived and now it's time for me to come at you because you have such a drive deficit. It's so expensive, right? Now, if people autopilot crouching medium kick into standing strong or something like that, clearly you can also, because I just want to test some stuff over here. Let's actually set him to block all the time. And what I'm going to do is block all. And we're going to activate the drive reversal here, right? So like that. So we're going to do that. So the problem is he gets to do it so fast. Let's actually change the activation. Let me see if this looks right. Yeah, that's still too fast. Like you're going to need like 15 frames. That's more of a human timing right there. So I can't block in time there. But if I jab, I can. So let's go back down to 10 frames. 10 frames is not fast enough. I mean, is fast enough to punish. So let's try 12. Okay, is that as fast as? So that's 14, that's 13, okay. Okay, so that's fast enough. Let's try 14 frames. Whoops. There it is. Okay, so 14 frames is slow enough. And, you know, this is kind of the timing that we expect humans to do, right? That you could actually get to block the drive reversal like that and blow them up. Because you're not going to just drive reversal right away unless you see the green. So drive reversal is not strong enough to stop this, right? Obviously, if I autopilot into a strong button afterwards, I get hit and I get knocked down. So that's really nice. That is good. But again, there's a lot of layers on top of that. It's not that simple, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, yeah, Alonzo. No. It's Wednesday. Right, that's the time in a crouching medium kick, but it's too short for reacting after the green. Exactly. So most humans are probably actually going to do it later than what I'm actually showing here. They might even just do it like 18 frames, you know, and look at that. I didn't even need to whiff a jab at that point in time. I could just drive rush and just see it and be like, hey, time to block this and kill you now. So that's why drive reversals haven't been able to solve the problem, really. So to have burnout last the rest of the round? Oh God, no. No. Hang on a second. I gotta do this. No. Can't have the game screen blocking my sheer terror on my face. Because it's so easy to get burned out in this game, honestly. It would be really scary. It'd be so hard to play the game at that point. But yeah, no, you're right, Kraos the Bear. A lot of people would still be be frustrated by the steamroll because it doesn't actually nerf that. But like I said, you know, it does reward you for having good defense in these situations, and I think that's kind of that's what makes it important, is that you're now rewarded more for your defense, because if you manage to survive that, they don't get a lot of meter back, and it'll take them a while before they start even gaining any meter back. Burnout recovery not giving you back 6 bricks? No. Give them, if they survive burnout, they deserve everything they get. They deserve everything they get, because getting burned out sucks. So the other idea, of course, very, 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 logical choice is, and I really wanted to test this too. I want to see, so normally, no block. This is 1,100 damage, but if I do crouching medium kick, you can see that the move automatically scales to 80%, whereas if I do crouching strong, it's 100%. So crouching medium kick not scales the combo, but even the drive rush scales the combo even more. So if I just did drive rush cancel into DP, for example, look at that. The DP is 68%. Whereas if I just do crouching medium kick into DP, it's 80% scaled for the DP. And if I do crouching medium punch into light dragon punch, it's 100%. So the drive cancel into the what do you call it? The drive cancel into drive rush normal is super scaled already, right? It's just, you get a lot of nerf on your damage. That's like 1890 right there in that situation. Whereas if I just did, let's see here, how fast is this button? So let's just do like that's already 2,000. Strong, low, strong in the Tatsu is 2,000. Oh, I got fighting past tier 29. I gained kudos for being in training mode. Okay. That gives you 2,000 right there. But if I actually do the drive rush cancel here, let me see this. Yeah, see, it gives 15%. So now it's actually 85 here. So there's a lot of scaling there already. Honestly, one of the interesting things, yeah, it's not the damage, obviously. It's the offensive pressure and the lack of commitment, the lack of risk, right? And not only that, but if I have a level 3, it doesn't scale lower than 50%. It doesn't scale lower than 50%. So no matter what I do, so in other words, like, let's just give myself forever here. Like oops, I did level 1 right there. Sorry for the people on the radio over there. Oops, god dang it. I can't remember what the input is. I keep doing DP with punch, not kick, 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 kick. So no matter what, the super only scales down to 50%. And see, look at that. I just, you know, even out of a really long scaled combo, a lot of times you could still get a kill on somebody with 40% of their life. Now, granted, that's usually going to happen more towards round 2, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, one of the things that, you know, people have talked about and might actually really kind of fix a lot of the systems in this game is just lower the level 3 scaling, min scaling to 40%. Because that nerfs drive parries, that nerfs drive rush cancels, et cetera, et cetera. It just makes it so that the level 3 can basically do very little damage based off of high scaling. So drive parry into level 3 isn't worth it anymore. Drive parry into... and you know, it'd be interesting, leave level 2 at 40%. And, you know, and so maybe now it's more worth it to do the level 2 because you save a level 1 afterwards. Like Kimberly, I think, and Cammy, I've seen when top players do a bunch of drive rush cancels mixed with attacks to have long-ass combos and pressure. I assume some benefit more than others. Yeah, I mean, you see it from Punk all the time. It's just end of the round, I hit you with a crouching medium kick, drive rush cancel, pow, pow, drive rush cancel, pow, pow, into DP, into super, and the level 3 kills, right? And so that extenuates the power of drive rush cancels and perfect parries because the level 3 super always makes up for the scaling that you're adding to the game. You're not getting penalized by the scaling anymore because the super can't drop below 50%. If you remember Street Fighter 4, where ultras basically had the same minimum as everything else, which was 10%. A lot of times you do an ultra at the end of this super long combo, and the ultra just did jack shit for damage. Just does jack shit for damage. I mean, doesn't that also discourage really long combos? No. It only discourages combos into the super. Because that doesn't change everything else. Because the min scaling for every move outside of supers is 10%. So if I just did this again and just kept doing this, look at that, 8%. Oh, 8% is the min scaling for normals. So literally I was doing 48 damage. So yeah, like literally it wouldn't change longer combos except for combos that end in super. And that's kind of how it works, right? In general, once you scale your combo down to 50%, you try to get in as many hits as possible before you do a level 3, because anything you get damage-wise after you scale your combo to 50% is free extra damage, because you don't care about the damage to your combo being done by the scaling anymore, because it's really about the level 3 at the end, right? If you do a combo that gets to 50%, and there's really no way you can avoid that, everything you do after that, if you plan to end at a level 3, is free extra damage. But I mean, those Guile perfect loops towards the end have like 8% scaling, but they hit really hard because of the super. If the super scaling was worse, why even do those? like I said, level 1 and level 2, leave them at 30% and 40%. So level 1s are already at 30% min scaling. And so Guile, every time Guile's doing the combo that ends in a Sonic Hurricane, he's already only taking 30% damage from the level 1 super. And level 2 already scales to 40, and level 3 scales to 50. If we just change it so that only 50 drops to 40%, it just hurts the level 3 super combos, basically. That's kind of the idea right there. But see, that's what I mean, is we're not adding crazy scaling to anything. I'm not saying change the scaling of anything, just change the min scaling of a level 3 to 40%. So everything else is exactly the same as it is now. Only thing changes would be the level 3. That would hurt the drive parries, because a perfect parry now, you know, one of the things about perfect parry, again, you know, yeah, you nerf your scaling down to basically no damage, but as long as the enemy is within the last 30% of their life, you're still going to kill them with your level 3, because a level 3 will jump the scaling back up to 50%, which is what makes perfect parries even scarier. Same thing with drive rush cancels, right? But again, drive rush cancels, like people are saying, it's not about the damage necessarily. It's just about the free, mindless offense that you get off of it. You don't have to think, right? Again, you don't have to think, because even if I set the computer right now to random block, like, who cares, right? Like, oops, he's still on that drive reversal. So let's turn off the drive reversal. Like, if I do that and I hit him, I'm plus 11, so super easy to confirm. You know, I get good combo off of this, and if he blocks it, whoops, like that, it's a true block string, and I'm plus 3, and I get a mix-up now. I'm a plus 3 mix-up in throw range. So again, the real big problem is not the reward for where it gets hit. So the damage scaling and changing the level 3, I mean, me talking about that is basically, that's a different conversation. It shouldn't even be discussed in terms of the crouching medium kick drive rush cancel. Now that I think about it, these are two completely separate issues. Really, the power of drive rush cancel off of crouching medium kick is the free, low-hitting move that cancels into a great confirm and corner carry, which is the bigger problem. The corner carry is the bigger problem, as well as giving you a mix-up on block. There's just no reason for you to have to think when you do it. It's if your crouching medium kick lands and you drive rush cancel, everything is free for you basically at that point in time. Maybe make the drive rush on block slower so you can interrupt with the jab. Again, so a lot of people have, you know, tried to suggest changes like make the cancel, like make it slower, blah, blah, blah. We do any of that, we kill every single drive rush combo in the game practically. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to take away the fun a lot of these characters have. Only on block. You can tell in Street Fighter 6 they're trying to avoid things like that. Like they're worried that, making things excessively complicated. Also, because the block stun is associated with the move that hit them, if you do crouching medium kick and it's going to do, and if crouching medium kick does, and I can tell you right now, 16 frames of block stun, if I drive cancel it, what you're suggesting is that the game actually now has to go into the recovery frame data of the normal move and shave off some of the block stun all of a sudden. Or if you activate a drive rush cancel, you know, the opponent gets put into a state where 4 frames of block stun get deleted from whatever block stun they're in at the time. And again, it's just kind of a little crazy over there. And crouching medium kick's already unsafe. It's -6 here, right? It's -6. That's not the problem, because even if it's unsafe, it doesn't matter. He cancels into the drive rush, and well, you're back. There it is again. I was thinking of DR lasting a bit longer before you can press something. Right. So then what you're saying is that if they're blocking and you drive rush cancel, and the drive rush cancel detects that they're in the middle of block, that makes it so your drive rush cancel is more committal, has added startup frames. So right now, a drive rush into button adds 9 frames. So this is normally a startup of 6. I guess it's add 8 frames, I guess it is. So now the startup of it is 14. So yeah, that's like 8 frames right there. This is a startup of 9. And so that's 17. So yeah, it's about adding 8 extra frames before you can do a button. So what you're suggesting is that if you drive rush cancel and the game detects that the opponent is blocking, then we add like another 4 frames to the startup of it, basically. While absolutely possible, again, it would just be really bizarre. Be really, really weird. It would work. It would work. But then the question is, does drive rush cancels become useless, right? Now we get to the point where people just don't want to do it because it's too risky. And that wouldn't hurt raw drive rush as well, which isn't the problem here anyway. Again, that's a separate conversation. So it could work. It could work. Like I said, it would just be a very, very strange rule. But again, fighting games are not devoid of strange rules. But honestly, all this talk about block stun, hit stun, whatever like that, I mean, really, drive rush cancel in just having twice as long of a meter gain penalty might actually be better. Right. So the inconsistency sounds like a muscle brain melter. Right. And actually, okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't work. It would actually almost be, it wouldn't work very well. Because the problem is, if on hit, if there's a 4-frame window in which I can press a button and attack, but not have it come out on block, you've just added a bunch of option selects. So now I'll do drive rush cancel, crouching medium punch into crouching light punch. If it's on block, the crouching medium punch won't come out, and then the light punch will come out and tend to be probably a true block string. But if it hits, the crouching medium punch comes out anyway. You've created a bunch of option selects off of that as well. So that's not going to work. That's not going to work. People are going to learn how to time that properly to option select it, unfortunately. So out of everything that people have suggested so far, it really feels like the best idea right now is just up the meter penalty or make crouching medium kick scale more. And like I said, the crouching medium kick scale more is bad for all the initial hits. But if you plan to combo into a level 3, it's just not going to make much of a difference. But scaling crouching medium kick into drive rush more. But again, that doesn't reward the defender necessarily for good defense. It just means if you get hit, you don't get hurt as bad. But it's already super scaled already. Like, when we were showing this, like I showed you, if I actually just did, if I did like that in the Stand Fierce. Stand Fierce is already scaled at 68%. It's going from 800 to 500 and something. So the damage is already scaled pretty badly. It's not the damage that people are caring about. It's the fact that it gives free offense. So by delaying the meter recovery, what's good about that is that, yes, it has all these benefits, but it hurts your meter gain so that it better be worth it. And if the defender does well, even if he gets hit, then afterwards the opponent doesn't have as much drive gauge. I mean, that'll be a good, like, let's say we make it about, like, does anybody have the exact frame data on how long it takes for a block to recover? Just time-wise. So one block is 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4. Might be looks like 3 seconds. It might be 3 seconds it takes for a block to come back. So yeah, I mean, if you extend the penalty to 4 seconds, that's literally like 1 1/3 less blocks that you get, or you know, around there, for every time you do it. So every drive rush cancel that you use, you know, causes you to have less overall drive gauge throughout the entire round. And so yeah, if you do block it, if they do autopilot and you drive reversal them, you know, you could be in a really advantageous situation. Oh, thank you, King999. Yeah, someone else put that link up there as well. So let's see. Standard drive gauge and burnout blocking. Okay, so percentage bar per second. So you get 50% per second. That's 2 seconds for... That doesn't sound right at all. Or regen frames... Why is this so confusing? This looks so weird. What are they saying here? Oh, frame percent bar per second. Oh, okay, 24% per second. So in other words, it takes 4 seconds to get a block. It takes 4 seconds to get a block, is what it is, of your drive gauge. It takes 4 seconds to get a block of your drive gauge. Essentially 96% of your drive gauge comes back in 4 seconds. And so yeah, if you get that penalty for 4 seconds, you're losing basically a block of your drive gauge every single time, which might actually be, you know, like I said, might just be the best way to actually fix it. Drive reversal can perhaps be buffed a bit, more pushback, not as minus. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that, make them faster to make it actually really, really good. You know, a lot better. I'm scared of that. The real answer, honestly, the real answer for drive reversal is that it shouldn't be universal. Shouldn't be universal. Kind of like the focus attacks in Street Fighter 4. Different characters in Street Fighter 4 had different ranges and different speeds of focus attack. And maybe that's just what we do. Just like the V reversals in Street Fighter 5. People had different V reversals. And so rather than making V reversals faster, it just depends on the character. Because honestly, if you up the drive reversal as a system, JP and Dalsum and Guile just became really scary. Is really scary now. Like, they will be the hardest character. They will instantly become top tier. Because anytime you get in on Dalsum, he's going to like, drive reversal. See you later. Bye. Teleport, yoga fire. And you're like, oh my God. Right? Like, that is going to be completely a problem. So, yeah, giving everybody character-specific drive reversals might be good. Because then Lily, Kimberly, and Manon can be given really, really good drive reversals, right? Like, maybe they should just have, like, the characters who have shitty defense should be able to drive reverse everything, right? Because the biggest problem with drive reversals right now, the biggest weakness of drive reversals here, let's do this, block all, active, let's see, drive reversal, active. Let's just do it on the first frame even here. So if he blocks like this, right? The problem is that you see what happens here? Some moves are literally just not drive reversible, right? So if Ryu does standing medium punch and you drive reversal on the first frame, you block and you're +8. And now I get to murder Jamie here. Right? Like that's the thing, right? And so that's why drive reversals are bad. This is where drive reversals suffer. If I do crouching medium kick, obviously I get hit because that's just how it works. If we buff some of these characters like Kimberly, etc., to just have faster drive reversals so that they just hit even Ryu standing medium punch and stuff like that. I mean, maybe that's the fair way to go. Maybe that's how to make it fair. And so, yes, everybody will be able to defend against drive reversals better. Drive rush cancels better. But except for Guile, JP, and Dhalsim, who you should not speed up their drive reversals. They have to hold it, which is fine because JP is annoying, Dhalsim is annoying, and Guile has flash kick, which is hella good already because it's the easiest thing to react with because it takes no frames and you never leave blocking. Maybe that's a great solution. Maybe that's just a good solution. Wouldn't those drive reversals make DR pressure too weak though? To a degree it would, except for the fact that if you're not doing drive rush cancels, what that means is that, yeah, drive rush cancels will be very rewarded for a lot of those characters because they're just going to just drive rush cancel and then drive reversal cancel and beat your drive rushes every time and you spend more meter than them. It would basically be, I block a button, you drive rush cancel, I always drive reversal, and now basically you could never cancel into a drive. You will never, on block, you'll never get a benefit out of it. And essentially you're always going to be down in meter as a result. But yes, drive reversals against raw drive rush would leave you at a 1 bar deficit. Exactly. So that's where maybe it's okay. Maybe that's where it's okay. It wouldn't, here's the problem, is that it would really, we don't realize how strong that would make some of the characters. If Kimberly actually did get a faster drive reversal so that it could beat things like Ryu standing medium punch, she might actually become one of the best characters in the game. It would become terrifying. Anytime she has meter, every time she blocks anything, she's gonna be like pow pow. It's drive reversal, offensive drive reversals and put you in the corner and then go to town basically. Having faster drive reversals might actually be kind of broken. Again, Krayos the Bear says, it's amazing how any discussion about Street Fighter 6 mechanics always have so many ripples involved. I love how cohesive all the mechanics are. Yeah, and again, this is why I like doing this discussion on my show here, because I'm aware enough that when people say, hey, do this, I can be like, actually... no, because a lot of people don't think about that. They think, it's like the time when HDR was coming out and someone said, nerf Cammy's jumping strong because she only uses it against Dhalsim anyway. And then Serlin was like, okay. And then you're like, what? I use Cammy's jumping strong in every freaking matchup that I play in HDR. What? People don't know the full extent of something that gets changed, right? I mean, it's the reason why, Seth Killian always had that famous example in Street Fighter 4. He was like, yeah, you nerf Guile's crouching medium kick by 2 frames, and then Ibuki becomes the best character in the game. It's seriously a butterfly effect like that. It can actually just happen that way. And so, yeah, this is why when people are just like, balance the game by doing this, and you're just like, dude, you're absolutely crazy. You'd have no... And again, my famous story of the guy on the Cammy forums in Street Fighter 4 discussion was like, just make Cammy's Tiger Knee Cannon Strike an overhead, and that'll make her fair. And I was like, what? Do you just realize you turned her into one of the scariest fighting game characters in the history of fighting games? Like, it won't be that good. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what the hell? Like, a lot of people don't understand how crazy it is. Yeah, Harv says this shows how complex a fighting game is, and all the people talk about nerfs and buffing this and patch changes. And yeah, people have no clue about nerfing or buffing. Absolutely. People have no idea just how brutal some of these changes can actually be. Very, very small things can change everything dramatically. I mean, case in point, I mean, it's very obvious why it's a huge benefit, but, you know, I've often said that in the history of Street Fighter 4, in the history of all of the patches of Street Fighter 4, I still think the strongest buff ever given to any character in that game was making Bison's standing light kick from 4-frame startup to 3-frame startup. And that sounds absolutely silly, like you literally changed it 1/60th of a second. Dude, that change was massive for Bison. Massive for him, dude. It was so good. Holy crap. And I was just like, I was like, oh my God, you just changed everything for Bison. You just changed everything. And like, people don't understand that. They don't understand how significant changes can be like that. And that's what happens most of the time when people are asking for changes and stuff. So buff nerf arguments are so funny. They're goated. Yeah. I like using Little League because people are like, this character's bad. And Riot is like, you're right, let's increase their base damage 2 points on one move. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's so small. And most people are like, that's stupid. That was 2 points of base damage going to change anything. And that character becomes overpowered because of it. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. The biggest stuff for Guile and Street Fighter 6 is making JB spike recovery 2 frames slower. Yeah. There's like, everything changes so drastically with small things. And so we have to be very careful about this, which is why, you know, as we keep going through all these ideas over here, what I like, and the reason why I came up with the drive rush, you know, change that if you get hit out of a drive rush, you tumble forward, is that the only thing it changes in the game is your reward for checking a drive rush. But my whole point is I didn't want to make drive rushes weaker. I don't want to nerf drive rushes to the point where basically no one uses them. So it becomes like a Street Fighter Cross Tekken mechanic that they added 700 mechanics, even though 698 of them have no pertinence to the match at all whatsoever. You know, I don't want mechanics like that, right? You nerf drive rush the wrong way, no one will use it, and it's useless. So if you only just change the punishment you get when you get hit by out of it, that doesn't nerf the power of it, the strength of it, and that's kind of one of the things that we have to understand. So on the crouching medium kick into drive rush, we don't want to nerf that to the point where like you can't use it and it's useless, but we want to reward the defender for surviving it perhaps, you know, or kind of hurt even the offensive character a little bit by making it so that means they get overall less drive gauge for canceling. And that actually ends up buffing the characters who don't have good drive cancels, right? Because if you're a character that has bad drive cancels, well, during the course of the match, you're going to find yourself in less penalty situations than the opponent. So overall, in giant flow of the match, you're going to end up with more drive gauge than the opponent, so you can use it to spend more on different things. And so in a way, it kind of buffs those characters that have bad drive rush cancels, because now there is the concept of, well, if I think about this mathematically, you know, if they drive rush cancel and I block it and I survive, well, then I get way more meter to use against them, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, that's kind of the concept behind that. I got that out of the way early, Windy Man. I talked about the short hair, yes. No more luscious locks, I'm sorry. Perfect Play says, usually in Street Fighter we end up getting more super, but I don't think that would be the case as characters already have 3 levels of super, but maybe we get like 3 different type of drive selections in the future. Just an example type. Oh, I see. With A being the default, B, you're basically talking about isms and grooves, right? I know, like, since Street Fighter 4, it's kind of a philosophy of Capcom not to go too crazy with that. Even in Japan, one of the reasons why CVS 2 was not as popular in arcades is because if you casually walked up to it and you didn't know anything, you put a quarter, select your, character, select your ratio, your groove, and you're like, I don't know what any of these grooves do. Pick one. Select your ratio chart. What? What is this? Bing. Now select your characters. I like Haomaru. Let me pick him. Select your next character. What? I just want to play Haomaru. Like it gets a little bit overdone. When you're just picking a super or just picking an ultra, that's a different story, right? Because you're just picking a move that's the same thing that you would do it's a super or a super, a V trigger or a V trigger, right? But activating it is the same, etc., etc. I think coming up with 3 different drive systems might be a little too confusing. So John the Automaton says the, quote, simplicity of the drive system is really elegant. Because, when I sit here and try to explain to you the grid system in Under Night in Birth, the grid system is very complicated. And whenever I try to explain it to people, their heads start spinning. They're like, what? Wait, what? 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 But the crazy thing is, the drive system is very similar to the grid system in Under Night in Birth, but much easier to understand. What's crazy about that now is nowadays, when I try to explain the grid system to people, I'm like, oh, it's very similar to the drive system in Street Fighter 6. And then people are like, oh. And now all of a sudden, like, it's that much easier. So weirdly enough, Street Fighter 6 did do a good job with keeping this complicated system a lot simpler, honestly. R4K Haomaru, the most popular CVS2 team. Look, when you're in rage and you do a standing heavy punch, it's just the greatest feeling in the world, right? Honestly. I can't see anything they could do to add character variations. And also, characters require more work than before, I think, so it might be too much work if we want a lot of characters. So, okay, so one of the clear things, we have to talk about this a little bit, right? We have to talk about this Kratos the Bear a little bit. It's not that the characters don't have variety, it's that the system mechanics are very, very strong. There's no secret that one of my biggest disappointments for KOF 15 is that the best characters are just the best at playing KOF 15. In particular, Isla, who I liked because she had all the crazy 6K hop into jumping and all this cool air movement and all these like options up there. And in the end, she's short, hyper hop CD, hyper hop CD, hyper hop CD, hyper hop CD. Like you're just like, oh man. Oh, you're talking about variations like grooves for each character. Okay, you're not talking about character variety. Right. Okay, that's fair. But the character variety in Street Fighter 6 is actually tremendous. It's just that crouching medium kick into drive rush, etc., a lot of those systems are very, very strong. So that, fireball in the drive rush is very, very strong. These kind of things are very strong. And so, it does make it so that it's a little bit tougher to feel the character's uniqueness, as it were. How many characters have crouching medium kick into drive rush? Let's check it and see. All right. Luke has crouching medium kick into drive rush. Jamie has crouching medium kick into drive rush. Not Manon, not Kimberly. Marisa can't cancel her crouching medium kick, right? That would be too strong, I think. Yeah, she cannot. And let me turn this stupid thing off over here. Oops. There we go. Yeah, she can't do it. So she can't do it, yeah. I was like, I don't think she can because I would be way more scared. Lily cannot. JP cannot. Jury can. DJ cannot. Cammy can. Ryu can. Honda cannot. Blanca should be able to do it. It's just that his crouching strong is just a better button. Yeah, so he can, but you're just more scared of crouching strong because of the range. His crouching strong has ridiculous range. Crouching medium kick, not as much, but Blanca can do it. Guile cannot. Ken can. Chun-Li can. Zangief cannot. Dalsum cannot. Rashid can. Aki cannot. And Ed, I think he can, because I think his crouching medium kick... Oh! Crouching medium punch is what you're doing for him. That's his version of it, is crouching medium punch. Because it's also a low. It's also a low. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 out of 21 characters. Half of the characters can do it. Half of the characters can do it. Of the characters that can't do it, Manon, low tier. Well, when I say low tier, I mean mid tier. But mid is the lowest the character can get. So Manon mid tier, Kimberly mid tier, Lily mid tier, JP now high tier, still might be closer to top tier. DJ still very strong, still fairly top tier. Honda lower tier, Guile very strong, Zangief weaker, Dalsum a little weaker, like he's with Marisa. Aki lower tier. So I mean, there's lots of reasons why these characters are not considered top tier, but the fact that the majority of them are on high to mid tier, which is basically mid and lower of the entire range of the cast, is an indication. Honestly, it really is an indication of how strong crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel is, because the fact that level 3s exist. Crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel can literally win you games. For what? Because the opponent decided to walk backwards. You can win an entire game and drain 40% of someone's life because they decided to walk backwards. And there's no way you can't say that that is something that's super, super, super powerful to have. And the only character that has it that's not strong, let's see here. Luke strong, Jamie weak, right? Mid-tier. Jury, pretty strong. DJ, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to look. Ryu, he's gotten better. God, I fight a lot of Ryus online these days. Ryu has gotten better. Yeah, everybody who can crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel are all good characters. Every single one of them except Jamie. And again, Jamie is the freaking outlier of the world. Jamie has everything. He has a DP. He has good drive rush cancel. Like, he has everything that a good character should have, and for no reason, he's not good. He's like super baffling, honestly. Oh, man. And so it's clearly one of the things that makes you strong. It's clearly, and then Ryu is probably the only other character that's not considered super strong. But like I said, Ryu is getting a lot better. A lot better. So yeah, it's the damage decrease and the drink requirement hurt him. I mean, that's one of the things that nerfs Kim as well, is the fact that she has to spend the entire game at 90% damage until she gets a level 3. Even her throws, even her level 1s and level 2s do less damage than every other character's level 1 and level 2. Like, she's just nerfed and damaged the whole entire way. Oh, God, it's annoying. But in any case, yeah, having it is very, very powerful. And like I said, you literally can win a game because someone decided to walk backwards right when you threw out a crouching medium kick. And where's the punishment for doing crouching medium kick into drive rush cancel? If you blocked it, I get a mix-up. If you get hit by it, you can die even at 40% if I have the level 3. And again, this is where the power comes in. So even if we nerf the meter regain on it, you know, it's still a very powerful late game tool. But what happens then is it hurts it a little bit more in the middle of matches. And I think that's kind of fair. And again, I don't want to nerf crouching medium kick drive rush so that you can't do it, or that it's not possible, or that it's basically useless. Like if you do, so here's an example. If you do crouching medium kick drive rush cancel, and let's say we do figure out a way to make it so that if you drive cancel or move, all of a sudden it just completely shatters the block stun. And so there's a gap. Dude, none of us are beating Guile ever again. Because I'm going to tell you right now, up plus 2 kicks is the easiest move to react to anything with. Guile is the original Modern Controls character. His ODDP takes 1 frame. It takes 1 frame to do. It's ow, right? And so if we actually nerfed drive rush cancel so that there's always a gap no matter what, Guile will OD flash kick us 100% of the time and then just sit there and throw sonic booms and gain meter back. And we're like, oh God. Oh man, you know, so Guile would basically become the strongest character in the game for free. As a Kimberly main, I hate Guile. As a Kimberly main, I hate a lot of characters. Man. Oh God, the fights are so hard. Just add 2 frames to the DR cancelable lows. Again, it's just a tricky situation. Like, what are we doing in those situations? When you drive rush cancel it, are you just adding 2 frames to the drive rush? Are you forcing them to cancel at later frames? Are you making it so that the opponent loses 2 frames of blocks? It's just a weird solution. Honestly, it's a tough one to kind of really do properly. Kim versus Zangief sucks, dude. And actually, Manon's really hard too. In fact, one of the best Kim players in Japan actually listed Manon as her hardest matchup in the game, which I was like, oh my God, I feel justified losing to Manon all the time. But yeah. So out of everything, changing it from 2-second penalty to 4-second penalty, honestly, just might be the best choice. God, if you did 2 drive rush cancels, do they stack? I don't think so. I don't think they stack. So if I just did like, oops. And but I can't burn myself out. Oh, of course. I'm going to burn myself out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Never mind. Okay. Moot point to think about. Now, there are micro walk situations where you get it back, et cetera, et cetera. But regardless, it's you know, if you did, well, actually, I could do that. Let me see. Oops, I gotta change this to standard. Nope. Okay, they don't stack. The penalty does not stack. So if I do 2 drive rush cancels that fast back to back, the new one just takes over essentially. Okay, that's fair, Kraos the Bear. Any suggestion that starts with just is not going to be a Good one, I think. I don't want to be mean to Pace in the chat over here. So again, you know, it's just one of those situations that people don't realize the ramifications and, you know, some of the difficulties in programming something like that too. I mean, obviously you can actually program it. It's just that you're going to have to do some wonky programming to make it work. For me, as an OCD and ADHD kind of person, I'd rather not do it that way. You definitely could, but it would just be very, very weird. So, but yeah, I mean, it's an interesting discussion. You know, crouching medium kick drive rush. We obviously know what the power of it is. If we nerf it so that the penalty is longer, that doesn't necessarily solve end game situations, but you know, that's fine. That's a different situation entirely, right? End game situations with lower health change the way everybody plays anyway. And so having it so that the drive rush penalty won't affect you as much because you're so close to winning anyway, I think that's fine. So right now, in my opinion, my favorite change to the drive rush would be adding 2 more seconds or 3 more seconds, whatever. Let's test it and find out how it feels. Because again, it takes 4 seconds to gain a whole block. So if we penalize you for 4 seconds, you're losing 1 whole block, right? Currently, you're losing about half a block. Does that half a block really make that much of a difference compared to what it is now? It might not. Maybe 4 seconds isn't enough. Maybe we should do 5 seconds. Maybe we should do 6 seconds. We don't know. Like what length we would have to play test it to figure out what length is enough that the person feels it and it sucks not gaining any meter back outside of walking forward, which would be an interesting thing because now you're like, shoot, I just did this driver cancel, knocked him down. I'm going to try to walk forward as often as I can to gain meter. But, you know, you want it to make it so that it's significant enough that you feel it, but not so painful that it just completely makes you impotent and like you're just like, I can't do anything. You know, so what if drive rush cancel cost a bit of health too? No, I think it would be an interesting idea. It would be something that could potentially work. Like it just causes a block of gray health, and so now you have to try to get that health back, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I feel like that adds a level of complexity to that. I see another problem with the penalty. What about characters who need crouching medium kick drive rush for punishes? Like their crouch medium kick is their best range normal for certain punishes. I mean, the penalty wouldn't matter what move they're canceling, right? Because that penalty is there no matter what. So in other words, even if their best combo is standing fierce into the drive rush cancel, that penalty would just be applied no matter what. Basically, it's just, you know, would it actually hurt some of these lower tier characters? Again, they don't get the same kind of drive rush cancel combos, but now Zangief might be nerfed because his drive rush cancel combos are already really kind of shitty. And now if he does it, he's like hurting the entire time. So it might suck for Zangief, but to be honest with you, when I play Zangief, I never do drive rush cancel combos because I'm just like, I want my meter for drive rush, raw drive rush all over the place. So yeah, I mean, it does nerf punishes for sure, but I mean, you're also probably getting a good chunk of damage off of your combo, right? Like you're using it because it's strong. So the trade-off might be worth it. And if you do the drive rush early enough in a combo, a lot of that penalty takes place while you are still in your combo. So that's kind of the idea, right? So if you do a combo and do the drive rush cancel early on, you can kill a lot of that penalty, right now you just start gaining a bunch of it back in the middle of your combo. But now if the combo is longer, now maybe you want to do a stupidly long combo that maybe doesn't necessarily do damage. Maybe you choose to do the route of a longer combo just to gain meter back instead of damage. You sacrifice damage for combo length, so you kill more of the penalty timing. I think that would be really, really interesting. So Aki needs the drive regen for her combos. Yeah, I'm trying to think which combos that she needs that for, because does it really benefit her that much that she's gaining? I think my cat just sneezed. What the hell was that? Okay. Anyways, well, in that case, Kratos the bear, and this should happen anyway. Let's just buff her juggles, please. Make it so that things actually juggle, because they made it so that Aki can't juggle with like anything, and it sucks, dude. I hate it. Street Fighter combo routes that give more drive versus more super meter versus more damage makes things super interesting. Right, like KI combo enders. Exactly. Yeah, honestly, my answer, Kratos the Bear, is buff Aki in other ways that make it so that it's not as bad that to not have all that drive gauge. So yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much covers this whole entire topic here. I think the best choice really is just to make it so that the drive cancels have a... I mean, it's interesting that raw drive rush has a 3-second penalty and a cancel has a 2-second penalty, because they were nervous that it was so punishing on a drive cancel to lose 3 bars that they didn't want to have the penalty be as long. But as it turns out, maybe they could revisit that. Clearly, they probably tested it at 3 seconds, etc. But the players have just gotten so much better at managing their drive gauges and knowing how to use them when they need to, etc. The penalty of 2 seconds isn't long enough anymore. So people were braver or stupider than they anticipated. Or, I mean, honestly, and smarter, honestly. Because like I said, people are just better at gaining the meter back. So it's all of the above. All of the above. Anyways, it was kind of an interesting discussion there. I like discussing these kind of mechanics and just like really mulling through all the options and talking about these things and really kind of digging deep into the mechanics. It's fascinating to me. It's why people like me like to talk about, oh, they should buff this, they should patch this, they should do this. What's this matchup like? How does this change? Theory fight, because it's just fast. It's fun, dude. It's fun to talk about these kind of things. So, oh, man. In any case, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching here. Again, sorry that we came out here on a Wednesday, so everything's a day late. But again, hope you guys on YouTube are enjoying this content, and I hope you guys appreciate this as well. The deep dive topics like this. We're going to have 2 very quick topics over here as well. So take a look out for those on YouTube coming out in the next couple of days. But for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. And remember, the day this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was
Wednesday.